So if I look at the challenges, now why most of the problems in internal security is coming from borders. If you look at South Asia consists of all the countries like India, Nepal, Bhutan, Bangladesh, Pakistan. All these countries have very strong historical cultural linkage. We have same common history. We have cultural linkage as well. And when these countries were created for their own specific reason, because we all were colonies, so that creation led to division, maybe some issues which are not resolved. For example, this Kashmir issue was resolved, probably maybe that the problem that we are having with Pakistan might not be there. We do not know. We are just thinking. Okay, so Pakistan is going through internal unrest and upheaval. एक feel होता है. Now let's imagine a place, the society, there are people are living, and in that society there is one rich person with big house, with security guards and big vehicles, and there are small houses around that big house. Just imagine a colony where there is a big house of some rich person with armed security guards and blah blah blah, and there are small houses outside. So how will those small houses people feel? They will always feel threatened, even though that big person, the person in the big house is very cordial, friendly, meeting them. But there is always will be, okay, you are so strong and hence you can do anything, or there is a perceived feeling that you are big brother. Even though हम कुछ ना भी करें तो भी ये problem है. And that kind of problem almost all countries have. Nepal or Bhutan, they always get, insecure about India being a strong country just beside them. Remember, they're also dependent on us for everything. For example, Nepal does not have access to sea. So they need anything they need will come via India. But within Nepal, there is a huge anti-India feeling. I know a lot of my friends who are from Nepal and they are like, they have anti-India feeling. Everything is normal till we discuss India-Nepal relations. And I tried to reason with them. I said, no. He said, no, you people are very bully. I said, what have we done? No, you people are bully. Your attitude is bad. You try to influence our government decisions. You influence our policy decisions. You disrespect us. I say, give me reasons. And they will give reasons, which probably, does not make logic to me, but that is what the feeling is. No, you can't reason in such cases. But that is what they feel. Most of the problem, if I talk about Bangladesh is one country where we helped us to liberate them. But within few years, a huge section within Bangladesh who were pro-Pakistan, they created a narrative against India. So within Bangladesh, there is a group of people who are against India. They are supported by fundamentalist forces from outside. They will give heaven, a refuge to terrorists or the people who are anti-India. A lot of problems that we faced was because of these countries being hostile. If Nepal is not friendly to us, or for that matter, maybe neutral to us also. So the people who are against India can easily take shelter in Nepal, right? Most of the money laundering happens through Nepal. Most of the, counterfeit currency is coming from there. If government is not supportive, most of the insurgent groups took shelter in Myanmar. India has a very strong, robust, very difficult terrain in terms of boundary. You don't have to do anything. You just know little swimming tactic to come from Bangladesh to India. Just swim and come to India. Now, how would we secure? We have thousands of kilometers of borders. The person who want to cross to India just require little, maybe a space of 2 feet to come to India. That's all. You put technology, you put this, that, to what extent? Countries like USA is not able to control migrants coming from Mexico, other places. They have so much resources, technology, everything. And we, on the contrary, have a huge border. Most of the illegal migration which is coming, they're also source of maybe instability in the country. There are sleeper cells, there are lone attack. You do not know when they will come, but they are ready. They are within India also. We do not know whether they are coming from illegal sources or legal sources, but that is how it is, right? Insurgency movements, ethnic conflicts, religious fundamentalism are rampant across India. Even if they don't find a problem, though there is no problem, they'll find some problem. They'll create a perceived sense of persecution of minorities in India. And that will create unrest. Yes, there are problems. Whenever there are two people from different group, we'll have some issues. That is normal. The only way is that we have to find a way to address them. If two religious communities have a problem, you have to find a way out so that you can live in harmony. But if some people are able to take advantage of that, create some internal security threat, create an attack, create terrorism activity, so that is something which have to be looked at. But that is how it is. So most of the internal security threat is because of our own internal problems, and they are able to capitalize on them. Such unrest have history of crossing national boundaries and leading to interstate tension. Something happening in Pakistan will have repercussion in India. If there is lack of development in Bangladesh, the illegal migration will happen in India. People in Assam, people in Meghalaya, West Bengal, there is a feeling among those people that illegal migration is changing the demographic of those places. It is very easy to come to India and get legal document. You can forge them, you can manipulate them, you can manage them. And that numbers probably we do not know, but that numbers in crores coming from outside. And that you can imagine the kind of problems they can create in future. Recently, you must have heard about the Rohingya issue. Then, now if you look at, this is the border of India. And this border of India, Indo-Nepal border, Indo-Bangladesh border. If I talk about this area is called Chicken's Neck. Chicken's Neck. A very small corridor, okay, almost 22 to 80 kilometers, which connects India from northeast. And here we have China. Here, Chumbi Valley. From China is overlooking at. China is trying to capture this area called Doklam Plateau. Doklam Plateau is with Bhutan. China can oversee this area. China wants to create unrest. China says that this area is South Tibet, as per their claim. This area is South Tibet as per their claim. And this can create problems in India because it can destabilize this part. China also plays their card of, now in India we have different races also. For example, if you look at the people in the northeast, there is slight different race that we have. So China says that they are similar to us. Though it is mostly people in northeast, they do not want to be part of China. But at least, through force, China wants to destabilize this area. And that is where it is very important that we bring development, we secure these boundaries, we secure them. We need good relations with Bangladesh. If you want to go to Mizoram, I have to go all the way from here to here. It is a long route. Any money, any resource going to northeast requires twice the cost as normal cost. The cost of development is also very high in these areas. We want a transit route. We just need a transit route from here and we can reach easily. But Bangladesh is not allowing. And for that, we want give us some transit route. But they're not allowing because there are some grievances which we have not addressed. We have state water disputes are there. Okay, so these are the problems. And remember, China is taking advantage of that. China will use it as a bargaining chip. China will force us to follow the line. What I said, strength respects strength, not weakness. The more stronger we are economically, technologically, things will change. If the next 20 years, India is able to grow at 7%, 8% consistently, all these problems will vanish. Most of these problems will vanish, especially India, China. Today, because we are weak, relatively, of course not we are weak, we are less developed. That is the only difference. Okay? So these are the concerns we are looking at. Now coming to the challenges. चलो कुछ लिख लेते हैं, write down. So what are the areas of national security we're looking at? So if you want to develop national security, one of the problem is law and order issues. So law and order is a very important area where country has to work upon. Okay, because if the law and order is not there, for example, lack of order, lack of public order can create instability. Okay, then economic threats. Economic threats are equally important, that has to be countered. Okay, economic threats which impacts development. Okay, then technology driven risk. Okay, for example, cyber war, okay, any kind of cyber threat, okay, fake news, yellow journalism, fake news, health security. अभी कोविड के बाद suddenly we are very, suddenly the pandemic, historically we had never faced the problem of pandemic to this degree. Never. We never face. Sitikant has a question: can communalism or conflict between two? Of course, it is a threat to national security, because the repercussions can come from, okay. So you can say some kind of disease which spread cross border. Example, COVID-19. Now, COVID-19, we were not the origin, but it, impacted our national security, development. Earlier also there were problems, but its degree of nahi tha. Today, there is a concerns of, bio threats. Okay, so these are the concerns which are there. Now, what are the challenges? Now, if I talk about internal security, so internal security can have two concerns. One internal security threats. If I talk about one internal security threat is traditional, and the other is non-traditional. Okay, it can be traditional, other can be non-traditional. बायो के बाद क्या लिखा है? ओके, बायो थ्रेट्स बेटा, तान्या, बायो थ्रेट्स. So can you tell me what are the traditional internal security threat? Can you think logically? I want some interaction here. Traditional. What do you mean by traditional? Sorry? Water and land disputes. Okay. Huh? Yes, traditional means which were there always, or you can normally, so for example, terrorism can be one, right? So it is a traditional internal security threat. Yes, naxalism, issues of maritime security, always been there. Okay. Then what are the new kind of threats we are facing in the last 20 years? Okay, so we are cyber security. Yes, communalism can be a traditional problem, beta. It has history, right? What else can be the example of non-traditional? Think non-traditional, which is more seen recently in the last few years or few decades. Money laundering has always, since history, money laundering has been there. Hundreds of years. Even before medieval age, money laundering used to happen. Huh? Health? Health. Two years ago, but maybe it was once in a century. When was the last pandemic happened which actually spread to the whole world? Spanish flu, 1918, right? Before COVID, had we, anyone of you, आप लोगों ने कभी सोचा था before COVID that a time will come when you'll have to sit at home for almost 2 years? Did COVID change your life? Emotionally, psychologically, a lot of people financially also. Almost everybody was impacted with varying degree. How many were affected by COVID here? Let me see. How many were affected by COVID? Second wave. So COVID हमने थोड़ी create किया. It came from outside. We do not know the source. We are thinking there's only one culprit, but yes, we can only think. But COVID came from outside, cross border. Imagine if it was created deliberately, intensely. You know what is the after effect of COVID? Our economy is 4 years back. That is the first after effect of economy. COVID. It has created innumerable health problem to almost everybody's who's affected with COVID. Almost everybody. There are people who are getting, the quality of health has impacted just because they were infected with COVID. COVID has created a disruption in the supply chain of development, manufacturing, everything. A new normal has been created. In some way it is good, in some way it is very bad. Okay? What else? How will climate change affect us? 20 years ago, climate change was a non-issue, right? It was a non-issue. Today, climate change is a big issue. How will climate change impact? Let's say the first thing is the world, and how the climate change is going to impact you and me. Just tell me. Climate change is impacting you or not? So let's think of how the climate change will impact the world. There'll be issues of food security. Yes. There'll be melting of glaciers, there'll rise in sea level. The low-lying countries, the coastal small countries will submerge in water. Am I right? In the coming years. So that will create problems. The same will be true in the coastal areas also, all the low-lying area. Climate change has increased the intensity of every event. There is more flash floods. There are more floods. Today, Bangalore is reeling under rain. Forget rain. These are torrential rain. A rain never witnessed in the history. People are moving on tractors. The CEO of the companies are going to office on tractors because normal car cannot work. That is the reality. And this is one very good example of climate change. Bangalore has a very moderate kind of climate, very cool climate. Anybody been to Bangalore? Okay, good climate. And it is getting worse now because of climate change. Unusual events are going to happen in future. The intensity will rise. Right now, rainy season is going on. When was the last time you saw the rain? In Delhi? When was the last time you saw the rain in Delhi? Probably we don't even remember. Rainy season and 2 weeks no rain, 3 weeks no rain, 4 weeks no rain. Arey, what is this? Is this really a season or something else? Climate change. Suddenly, one day, the Meghraj will look at us and say, don't worry, I will shower like anything for the next 2 days. I'll shower like anything for the next 2 days. And everything is disrupted. It happens in Delhi also. Extreme events, extreme precipitation events are new normal. That is because of climate change. It is impacting our development, security, livelihood, wastage of resources. Disasters will increase, intensity of disasters will increase. So these are and remember, it is a new normal. You have to accept it. We have to adapt our lifestyle. We have to invest in technologies, because we can't compromise development also. Development ko to karna padega, right? And that development will come at the cost of more climate change, right? So that is how it can be seen or witnessed. Okay, so here we can have terrorism. Tell me the list of this. Yes, communalism. Let's complete the list. Communalism, organized crime, insurgency, online students, everybody, Srilekha, Shiv, Sheetal, Sangeeta, everybody, Richa, a lot of offline students also, others. Everybody is able to understand? Yeah, good. Sitikant has a question, sir, cross-border conflict is also a threat to internal security. Of course it is, beta. Of course it is. Yes. Tina is saying, change in temperature impacting species. Yes. Witnessing natural calamities, the intensity has increased. So these are the concerns. Okay. Chaliye. Now, what are the factors responsible for internal security threat? So what do you say? What are the factors responsible? Why there is so much threat? What are the factors responsible? We'll get into that. Think, let's do some brainstorming. Kyun hai ye threat? I want some inputs. Population, high population. High population is good, right? Or bad? Huh? There are countries which have so much population and they have almost no resources, and they are developed today. Countries like Japan, South Korea, a tiny island called Singapore is like a global powerhouse. And it was a country with, people running in boats, fishing just few decades ago. So resource is not a problem. Resource will always be there because resource constraint can be addressed through development. Okay. So yes, you're right. One is, of course, I can see the broader point, development deficits. Development deficits can be, poverty can be one factor. So people are poor, unhappy, unemployed. Yes, instability in neighboring countries. Okay, so poverty can be there. And as apart from the development deficit, within development deficit or kuch problem hai apart from poverty. Are we making effort to ensure that development is reaching the population? Are we making efforts or not? We are. But is there any problem? It is not reaching to them. So what are we doing about it? So you become an IAS officer tomorrow, you're sitting in your office. A young man comes and says, sir, I'm very unhappy. I'm not able to get my ration card. I have no job, I have no income. So what will be your response? Remember, you just had a fight with your husband or wife, whosoever it is. Okay? If you're a girl, you had a fight with your husband. If you're a boy, you had a fight with your wife. There is a lot of pressure you are under into. There are local politicians who wants favors from you, and you're very unhappy. Or let's say you're not unhappy, you are little, stressed within work. So how will you respond? That person comes to you and says, I need. You'll say like this, or you'll say, no, come sit, I have a tea, I'll listen to your grievances. See, biggest problem in India is not only that we are not making effort, it is about the lack of grievance redressal. That is the biggest problem. We are middle class. If we do not get something, we'll find a way out. Okay, so there can be corruption, lack of grievance redressal. This is the biggest, one of the very big challenge. And that is why it is important that your grievance is addressed. You are unhappy and you went to your parent, you went to a father or mother and you shared your concern. Normally they respond? Do they or do they? Normally they respond or do not? Huh? Well, normally they respond. And what if they don't respond? So what will be your reaction? What will be your reaction? You will implode from inside. You'll feel unhappy. Andar se bura lagega. You'll be, and then you might take an action which is not so good, right? Kuch karoge? Nahi karoge? No, I'm so happy. I will say, okay, Papa, don't worry. I'll improve myself. Okay? This is the problem. The problem is that this is the issues. Lack of, or you can say inequitable growth. Growth is happening, but it is not reaching everybody. Everybody is not getting growth, benefits of growth equally. Lack of social cohesion with vulnerable section, yes. Leading to disgruntlement. Yes, Sangeeta, that's nice. Describe corruption. Okay. Inequality, opportunity, unemployment. Yes. Development deficit can be unemployment also. In fact, I would say jobless growth. We are witnessing of growth called jobless growth. Okay. Jobless growth, unemployment. You have attained lot of degrees and you don't get quality work as per your degree. You will feel unhappy. You attained a lot of degree, you have made sort of effort, but the job, when you go in the job market, you're not getting the quality job. So that will create underemployment. You're employed, but you're not suitably utilized. That is underemployed. You're getting less work. That is you're underemployed. Okay? Then unfriendly neighbors. This is again a challenge. Okay, it can be China, Pakistan. Other nations, they flip-flop, but they also have a little hostility. Now, if you really want to look at the people who are not able to get the benefit of development, there is a sense of deprivation in them. अंदर से बहुत नाखुश हैं, they're very unhappy from inside. There is a sense of deprivation. There is frustration, and they can be easily swayed into doing some. So they can be a part, very easy way in which you can use them for social unrest. Juvenile crimes start at young age. Juvenile crimes at young, they are these young children, they are used for crime at a very young age. And then once they become a part of the crime, believe me, reformation or rehabilitation is almost impossible. And that is a very big challenge of development. We do have resources, but they're not enough. So we have to. So development is about ensuring the security, economic, social, political, cultural, respect, everything is important. You all have self-esteem, right? You all have self-respect or not? Yes, because we are human. We have our own sense of worth, and that sense of worth is impacted when these development do not reach you. We are middle class, we are educated, we are empowered, even we feel frustrated, but at least we have a way out. We can put extra effort, increase our income, improve our quality of life. But that is not true for a huge section of population. Okay, so these can be there. Then there are partition politics. So partition politics is, you can say a lot of way. For example, the communal tension in society. Okay, regionalism. People who migrate to different state, they tend to come across such problems. Son of the soil movement. Okay, and it is not true with everybody, but yes, for political reason. So somebody migrating from Bihar, working in Gujarat, or working in Chennai, or working in Maharashtra, suddenly feel that they are not welcome in that new place because they are tapping the local opportunity. And then, for political reason, these people are exploited. And you ask them, are you happy? Are you happy? No. Because our sense of self-worth, Arey, hum India mein hai, I'm in India and I'm not getting the right respect. I'm not saying that the people are not responsible. Yes, the problem is that why migration is happening? Migration is happening because at local level, I'm not getting employment in my local habitat. मुझे नौकरी मेरे जगह पे नहीं मिल रही है. I'm not getting the job near my place of living. And I'm forced to migrate. And that creates two problems. The first is the resources of a particular place where the people are migrated, they are being used and there is a resource constraint there. For example, if urban population of Delhi increases because of flux of extra people coming to Delhi, the urban migration, that will create problems and locals will feel bad. Now, but it is a reality. Now, it is government's responsibility to create opportunities because migration is pro-development also. People migrate, they create opportunities also. But we are failing in that. Somebody from, a person from Bihar is going to Gujarat because he knows or she knows that I will get a good job in Gujarat only. Are you getting my point? So that is an example of lack of balanced development. Okay, so partition politics का फायदा ये लोग उठाते हैं. They trying to get advantage of that, especially the regional political parties. The caste tension, caste and ethnic tensions. Okay, again, that creates divide. Further, there can be some governance deficits. Okay, governance deficit means we have poor criminal justice system. How many cases are pending in India? How many? 5 lakh. How many cases in India are pending at judiciary? Any idea? Online students, offline students? So you go to court. How many of you have been to court? How many have been to court? Court means for hearing, for regularly. God forbid, aisa na ho. But believe me, if it happens, life will become hell. Because our judicial process is so slow, it is moving even slower than snail's pace. Practically getting justice is almost impossible, even if you have money and resources. And that is, imagine about poor people. The poor people are framed. Let's say you do something illegal or bad and you are framed. Many a times you become, आपका trial ही नहीं होता है, you become under trial. Let's say, you do some stealing activity and you are under a section where the punishment is 6 months. The under trial is not happening. Sorry, the trial is not happening because judiciary do not have enough resources. And you stay in jail for 2 years. ऐसा normal है. Lakhs of people are under trials in our jails because judiciary पे उनका केस ही नहीं आता है. There's nobody to fight for them legally. They are poor. They don't have money resource. The legal aid that state should give, state also do not have resources for legal aid. Our criminal justice system is very poor. More than 5 crore cases are pending as we speak today. 5 crore. 5 crore cases are pending in India. 5 crore. Imagine how much time it will take to resolve these cases. Okay? So this is a problem of development deficit. Then large scale corruption, of course, that is also governance or development deficit corruption. Corruption impacts the lower income group more, who are devoid or bereft of basic services. Let's say you need ration. You need some kind of benefit of government scheme, and you go to the government official, and the corruption is prevalent in that particular office. They will ask you for money so that you get benefits of the whatever government scheme is there. You don't have money to pay them bribe, and you are excluded from the system. You feel unhappy. And it is very easy to influence you against the system, against the state, because you feel deprived. These people are not aware, educated. Okay? So that is a challenge. Nepotism. Lack of balanced development. Unfortunately, in India, we do not have a national, proper a doctrine for national security. We do have resources, we do have system, we do have process, we do have policing mechanism, we do have intelligence system, we do have technology which is there, but still a lot has to be done.